Wait, where's my little thing to keep it from falling? What's up? I can't find the thing.
What thing?
The thing that keeps my phone. 2 seconds. Entertainment, Phil.
Hi, everybody.
I don't know where the thing went.
What up, Jasmine?
Say hello.
I see you.
I don't know where. Yeah, you know the little thing that I put in there so that my phone won't fall?
Let's see. I don't, but I think it's going to be all right.
Okay. Well, it's going to have to be.
Jasmine, we
right,
need you in LA.
Who do we
Jasmine,
need in LA?
I sing on your freaking messenger every day, all right? Come on now.
Love it. What's up, beautiful people?
What's up, everyone?
Daniela, I see Taylor, I see Mona.
Hi, Marissa.
We're going to make like our own jams
What
tonight.
up, New York?
Somebody sing some Tom Petty.
What up, Third Eye Thoughts? Much appreciation for you.
Aww.
What up, Chris?
My best time of the week. Udi!
Hi, Udi.
Yes, you know Udi.
I do.
Yes, we love Udi. Udi is officially a part of my Reviving Radiance Mastery Course.
Congrats.
Congratulations. What's up, everybody?
Wow. All right. So we're good. I mean, we have a lot of people down here today.
Yeah, I know. Ooh, 33 people. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, Jasmine, I'm laughing with you. Come to LA and we'll sing all day. She's actually the reason I moved here.
No, she's awesome.
Yeah. She's an amazing songwriter.
Well, so much love to you, girl.
Gulu, that's my best friend right here.
Ooh.
We say gulu to each other.
Oh.
Gulu, and we
what
do
does that
that.
mean? That's
so
French.
gulu. So do this with my chin and
What do you want me to tickle my chin?
No, we go like this. Gulu. We grew up doing that in high school.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's just funny.
Oh.
It always like makes people laugh.
It sounds like it's like some French amazing word.
No, it's not even a word. It's like gulu.
Before he was spiritual, he was
guluing.
That's awesome. Oh, what's up, everybody? Awesome.
All right, let's get this party going because we have like about 150 people right now.
Yes, awesome.
All right, guys, give us some juicy questions. Bring it.
James says hello from Vegas, so let's all give like a little love and kind of energy support out to everybody in Vegas because that was not awesome.
Give some hearts if you felt like this was a really heavy week. I mean, this was... Sarah and I were on the phone like the night before the Vegas event.
Yeah.
The Vegas thing, and I was telling her...
No, we were on the phone that night.
Yeah,
because then James called me that night, and then it happened.
And we were talking about how we're both feeling like this sadness.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, how
like
amazing would it be if we had access to like the CIA to let them know what's going on? And then literally that night it happened, and then... But we were both talking about like how the sadness wasn't ours, but we were picking up on something that was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And we've got Bali.
Yeah.
I'm slightly depressed about that.
There's so much going on right now. So much. And we also have to remember that it's because of the light work. Like so many of us are awakening. And as we awaken, yes, it's going to bring a lot of stuff from underneath the ground up to the surface. So things are going to be crazy. Right? Oh, thank you, Jasmine. Things are going to be crazy before they get better. And so, yeah, for now, we just have to extend compassion and prayers to all those people across the world who are, like, really suffering right now. But, yeah. So, let's start with a good question.
You want to start on my side?
Yeah,
all right,
let's do it.
Let me scroll up real quick and see what we got. Cinema says, help, I want to end something with a guy and want to choose fear. I'm assuming you mean don't want to choose fear because I feel really vulnerable. What can I do to stop this feeling?
don't
to
stop
choose
the
food.
feeling.
Don't stop the
Being
feeling.
being vulnerable is gold. I mean, when you're allowing yourself to feel vulnerable, that's when you can really, really promote some self-healing. So yeah, love can be very scary for all of us because it brings up so much.
But if we're not being vulnerable with other people, then we're not being vulnerable with ourselves either. Or if there's a fear of being vulnerable with other people, then we're not being vulnerable with ourselves. And that's where like your self-compassion and self-love and all of that just deeper levels of self-connection come in. So I would say the more that you can dive into being vulnerable and releasing the fear of whatever you're making being vulnerable mean. Like sometimes, when I had this too, it was like, oh, being vulnerable meant like, oh, then I'm not strong. And if I'm not strong, then I'm weak. And if I'm weak, then it just, you trickle down with all of these thoughts that aren't serving, they're not positive. And true vulnerability is actually true strength. So,
And oftentimes we have our guard up and we don't even want to express our feelings with people because we think that that would be weakness. When in fact expressing ourselves, do it for you because it's self-healing,
how refreshing would it be if we all just kind of expressed, maybe not all of our feelings,
but
but
it has
the
to,
loving one.
with the loving ones, with the right people.
With the right people.
Because some people just will freaking encroach and be like,
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if in that moment you were like, oh God, I don't want to express this to this person because what if they take it the wrong way? Or what if they think that then I'm being needy? Or what if they think, whatever you think they're going to think? What if in that moment you actually then fully expressed what it was that you wanted to? What if you told somebody that you had feelings for them and all of your fear and anxiety came up? Because, right, our fear is, oh, we'll be rejected or we won't be loved in return. And love isn't something that, like, if we're trying to get love, then that's where we believe that we're rejected. But if we're here just to experience the sharing of love, then technically there's no rejection.
Yeah, without attachment to a particular outcome.
Without it.
Like you're doing it because it's a self-healing journey and a loving journey. It's a loving exchange. This is what's been coming up for me this week is like, we need to disarm the old energy systems, the old belief systems, because sometimes they can really fog our experience and they carry over into every single experience of your life. And so for me, I've been like really determined this week to disarm any limiting beliefs because I know that I
Just
take
this
those.
week? You've been doing that a while.
I have. I've been doing it this while. It's been the theme this week for like, just because I feel like it's a filter that gets placed and it clouds every experience. So yeah, be open. Allow yourself to be vulnerable. There's a lot of beauty that comes from that.
Yes.
All right, let's go to.
Cool.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, and if you're vulnerable and they use it against you, it means that they're not part of your tribe. They're not supposed to be in your life. So just keep that in mind. But the person who's going to love you is going to love that trait that you have, that vulnerability. And yeah, okay. Hey guys, help. Okay. What is going on? What is going on with the guy I'm seeing at the moment? He's being distant and cold, and I feel there is something he isn't telling me. I've tried asking to no avail. So the first thing is we want to reframe the question, so repurpose it to what is going on with you, right? Because if he's being cold and distant, what is that making you feel? What is it stirring up in your cup? That's the first thing. And if you've asked him for clarity and he hasn't given it to you, once is enough. You don't need to keep repeating that you want, because if you do that, he's going to feel like you're not respecting his invisible boundary or his boundary. So respect people's boundaries. If they don't want to talk to you about it, take it for what it is and then ask yourself, can I back off right now? Can I scale it back? And then if it continues to show up for you and you know that this isn't a match for you, then honor that and be willing to let him go. Because remember, when we let people go, we're not necessarily letting them go. We're releasing the energy that you still hold within your own cellular structure. right? So it's about disarming, it's about releasing those patterns that you have. So when we let people go, it's really just that we're letting go of our own energy that has become stale or static and is just not serving us anymore. So anything to add to
I
that?
really dig that. Yeah, because I mean, it is ultimately always about us. We can't control what anybody else is going to do or not do. So if he's not wanting to have that communication, there could be 1,000 different things that he's going through. So I like to play a game sometimes where it's putting
All the time.
I'm only playing
Sometimes
all the time.
I'm very
only
innocent.
Serious some of the time, but I'm playing all the time.
She's like Inspector Gadget. Everything's a nugget game for her. She's like, let's dissect this.
It's like mental archaeology.
Right.
Let's find what it is, and then pick it apart, and then here, show you the love.
Inspector Gadget.
Okay. But back to you. Sorry. Okay. I would say that if to the game that you can play, right, is put yourself in his perspective, in his shoes. There may be something deeper going on for him that you don't know. I love that you said you're like, okay, like once is enough, but then also finding out whether this is in alignment for the kind of relationship that you want to have. Because if open communication, which I agree is very important in a relationship.
We are high
People
on life.
always think we're high. We're not
high on
high.
DMT. Our third
Our
eyes.
natural DMT.
Our natural
you can
DMT.
Smoke that shit.
I know.
We're not.
We're high on life, people.
We actually don't. Well, I'll speak for
I don't
myself.
smoke weed.
I don't smoke weed. I used to. There was a time I was a huge pothead back when I was like 18. And now I don't do anything. I may have a little bit of glass of like dessert wine every once in a while.
Yeah.
But other than that, we don't do anything.
We don't.
We're sober.
You're projecting.
And having fun.
You're high.
You're high. Yeah, are you high? What's going on
What's
for you?
going on for you? What do we bring up in you?
I think that we just all have to literally laugh at ourselves.
We
and
do.
if we're not laughing at ourselves,
We take it so
ourselves seriously. Didn't you guys all know that spirituality is really serious?
Yeah.
I don't know if
It's so serious.
I don't know if you knew, but here's the memo.
Yeah.
It's serious
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah,
all
it
the
really
time.
is.
You're not enlightened.
You're not enlightened if you
Unless
don't
you're
if you
serious.
don't greet me with namaste, you're not enlightened.
Oh shit. Namaste. Okay, but for real. But for real this time. No, just check in with like what you think his perspective is or could be, right? And then come back around and like you were saying, if it's not working in the relationship and open communication about something is not of the same value for him that it is for you, then it's not in the right alignment, in which case, girl, like totally step into your power and be like, thank you so much, Home Slice, for playing.
Namaste.
Namaste. But you're not going to stay. You're going to bounce.
I'm out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
It's like a nama go. Nama go.
Oh man.
Phil,
whatever void that you feel you need to fill. It's like filling in the blanks.
Yes.
Next.
Okay. What is that? Hippie Heels. I remember you, baby girl. She's gone through her own reinvention. I love it with this fabulous new hair. She says,
I can see it. It's red, right?
Yes.
Nice.
Amazing. So awesome. I used to have red hair too. It was so much. It was best years of my life. What is the energy in the universe right now? We've got the hurricanes, tragedy in Vegas, Puerto Rico. Something weird is in the universe. This is exactly what we were talking about before. And that we wanted to kind of like open up and touch on. And yes, there's so much. There's a volcano exploding in Bali, of which case that's kind of potentially halting my plans to go to Bali. Because James and I had a flight booked to go and do that, and now we're debating about whether we don't go. So yes, there's this what seems like, and so whether we get into the conspiracy theory debate of whether this was intentional or planned, and this includes everything. Like, yes, we're talking about natural disasters, but there's some people get into the conspiracy theory of like, oh, were those planned or not planned? Overall, it's like there's this projection of fear. And so if that were the game not to play, if that's the game that, if there was a conspiracy and it was trying to get everybody enrolled in this fear game, then that's the game not to be playing right now. And so just trusting that everything, yes, the energy is bringing it up, and it's bringing it up in all of us, and we're all empaths, or I'm sure a lot of you that are here tonight. And so we're feeling the energy of the collective.
There's a lot of upset, a lot of agitation,
anxiety.
And if we feed into that, we actually fuel those people who are violent.
Yes.
We do.
And fuel that energy into the collective. And that's what we want to then be here to transmute. So everybody has an opportunity that when that feeling, like how we were talking about, and you were mentioning, like these feelings of, like these waves of just melancholy. And it's like, okay, that's not ours, but where is it coming from? So if it's in the collective, then we as conduits, our physical body, that we have every opportunity to, in a moment, shift a feeling.
Or a perception.
Or a perception, or all of it, in an instant. And so if those feelings of anxiety or whatever are coming up that they're not yours, then if you can in just 2 seconds just give it love and transmute that energy, then you're doing your part collectively to then sending a new transformed energy of love out into the collective rather than feeding into the fear.
And this is all happening for the purpose of us uniting and coming together.
Yeah.
I had this download when I was meditating.
Look at how many people started praying together in Vegas and for the people of Vegas.
I had this really cool download when I was meditating this week. Like, if aliens came to the planet tomorrow,
would be way fun.
Like, no one would be fighting each other anymore. We'd be like, oh my God,
if they made themselves known.
If they made themselves known, there would probably be like a serious paradigm shift where we would all come together and be like, oh my God, there's something new. Like, so it would be an instant shift in consciousness. And a lot of what's happening, like the earthquakes and all that, are bringing us together. Yes, there's a lot of sadness and grief and all of that stuff, so we do have to empathize and compassionize with that and send out prayers, which then connects us into source even more, and at the same time make sure not to fall into those victim patterns and be like, oh, this world's going to shit. It's not going to shit. All the work that you've been doing in your meditation,
this is not the rapture.
No, in all of your positive thinking, like, the more light that we shed on the planet, yes, there's going to be more darkness, because darkness is doing everything to hang in there. It's fighting tooth and nail right now. So if anything, you, and we've already won. Like, so if anything,
that's a good point. Okay, the
it's
light
like,
has already won.
Congratulate yourself for all the movement that's happening right now, because it's thanks to your meditation and thanks to your prayers and all of that there's so much change that's happening, increasingly so. So yeah, congratulate yourself.
So it's all for the positive.
All of it. Things have to get worse before they get better. I mean, look, when you start living your truth, right? How do people around you respond? There's usually a lot of negativity. This is happening on a macrocosmic. They challenge your new belief, right? Because you're then I guess reflecting in them their own darkness, because you're carrying your torch of light.
Totally.
And so that's what's happening on a macrocosmic level right now. That's what's happening.
Massive one. Because of the more that we're all stepping into that light and that awareness and giving out more love, then of course it's going to try to challenge. It's like, oh, can you really hold that field? Can you really fully step into that love in the midst of chaos? Can you step in and hold that field of giving love, honoring the feelings, but then giving love? Because when things are easy, it's easy to give love, right? And when you're in relationship, it's like, oh, if everything's going great, there's no problem. It's when the rubber meets the road and shit gets going, that then it really truly
when you're
defines,
thrust out of your box of comfort is what it is.
Then it really truly defines okay, who's here that really wants to stay on that game of holding that space of love. So not giving into all of those things.
Good.
Love that. Love that we got to touch on that tonight.
Was that on your side?
That was on my side, yeah.
There are no sides, right?
There are no sides. We're in duality and shit, but...
Right, that's why we need two poles.
There's that little thing.
The tug of the yin and the yang.
The tug of the yin and the yang.
All right, so let's look for a good one here. Yeah, light wins, and it has already won from a different dimensional perception. It has already won.
Yeah, that was a really good reframe. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We just check each other, everyone. We're like, did you really want to say that? Just sometimes unconscious languaging, you know? Deep week for sure. Been in the shadow. Awesome. Step out. Bring some light.
Oh,
That was to
this might be good.
Texas.
So how should we respond to people who do feed into the fear? Sorry for the repeat question, having trouble finding the words. So when someone is feeding into fear, you could just say to them, you know what, I trust that everything's happening for the greater good of the planet, and that in itself is going to deposit a seed. And they may walk away like, what? This person didn't give me what I was looking for in that moment. But that's good, right? Because you've planted a seed, and whether or not that seed blossoms for them in this lifetime or another lifetime, you were responsible for doing that.
And you were holding the light for it, so you weren't giving in to validating their, whether it's fear or like how you said, whatever that seed is.
Yeah.
Like we want to get other people engaged in, our story or our fears or
Right.
whatever, because then that makes us feel like we're not alone in it if we can connect everyone else to
Yeah.
it. So if you're just like, that's not my
If
point
someone
of view.
tries to connect with you from a place of like complaining or whatever, it's usually not gonna be your tribe anyways. So it's like
They're trying to get something.
they're trying to. Yeah, I was in an elevator
energy.
recently, and this woman went like, and I knew she was trying to pull my energy and hook into
I do
me.
that whenever I go into
And
an elevator.
I just went blank. Like, I didn't even respond to it because the thing is, I know what she's trying to get. If you're wanting help, ask for it. Instead of like going like the huge sigh, just say, hey, I'm having a rough day.
It's like if you can't
I need a hug.
If you can't push the number 4 button from
Yeah.
the floor, ask somebody.
Right, just drop your pride and just ask for it, but don't try to come in and pirate my energy. I don't respond to that.
That's a
So
good point.
people do all kinds of things unconsciously, so, right?
Yes, all the time.
Good.
Okay, yes, feeling the sadness too. Transmuting it. Let's transmute it. Hey, beautifuls. Do you want to answer that?
What does it say? Hello, beautiful souls. I'm curious to know if you guys can see me falling in love again soon. Yes, absolutely. You will. And you just have to keep holding that person in your heart, and connecting with that feeling of being loved, and exchanging compassion and affection and intimacy. And if you continue to connect into that feeling and open your heart, it will come sooner than you think. So, so yeah, you're gonna fall in love again. As long as you have a desire, that is the universe wanting to express itself through you. Okay, so if you still have a desire to be an actor, you still have a desire to be in love, it means that has yet to be completed, and the universe wants to see that through for you. And so, stay on course. Make sure that your ego doesn't kick in and throw you off track. Stay focused on what you know to be true in your heart, and hold that person in your heart, and it will happen.
And then I would say for you too, in the meantime, like, we've said this before too. It's like, who do you need to become to then attract that which you would desire into your life? So, maybe we haven't said that before.
Go ahead. I want you to expand on that. That sounds really good.
It's we have this view of like, oh, what we want, right? But I've been actually telling a couple people right now, like, don't go after attracting or wanting to attract a relationship while you're still working through your own. If there's patterns of this may not relate to you, but if there's patterns of the types of relationships that you don't want to keep attracting, then work on that first and grow that strength of who you can become at your next level, and then you'll attract someone on that same vibrational level. So if it's like, not just putting the energy out on like, oh, this is what I want to attract into my life. It's who do you need to become, so then that vibration will magnetize to you.
I love
That's
that.
about all I want to say.
That's really good.
And I feel like
And sometimes
like you
it's not
already
even.
are, but
Sometimes it is about becoming that best version of yourself,
Yeah.
and it's also about just accepting yourself as you are.
as you are.
And then dropping into the heart.
Yes.
That's what it's about. Just living from that authentic, truest self. You know?
And having fun, like with what's, like how many times are we, you know, trying to get something outside of ourselves to feed something that, you know, is there maybe a project that you really want to create where that attention and that energy and that love would build something in you on a different level. And in right now you might be then focusing on somebody else fulfilling that, where it's about you creating.
It's about getting that creative energy moving.
Yes. And doing something with it, and then letting the person show up. And you're like, cool, you're here, and I got my own shit at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Perfect.
Yes, James, huge shout out. You're awesome.
How can I stay on track? That's a very, I mean, I can give you a very simple answer. Stay away from things that throw you off track. That's it. Because the true self, your true self, is already on track. Yeah. You're a divine being. And so as long as you steer clear from anything that may weigh down your vibration, you will remain on track. So, yeah.
Oh, we got some interesting negative projections here on this feed that we're not going to feed into right now. But sending love to you.
Is there... I'll just answer this one real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Is there a specific way to breathe to open your third eye?
Ooh.
Yes. So
naturally,
I like to place my tongue. Naturally, I like to place my tongue at the top of my mouth, at the roof of my mouth, and then you have to imagine that there's like a straw or a tube connecting up to the third eye.
Oh, I like that.
And then as you inhale, it's a very isolated breath. So you have to get in tune with your breath to know how to direct it, right? As you get in tune with your breath, it's about consciously directing it up through the tube and into the third eye to then stimulate that pineal gland. And as you stimulate it, you're going to be activating it. And as you activate it, that's going to open up the stargate to those other realities. But getting in tune with your breath is the most important thing. And then knowing how to work with it to then send it to different places.
Didn't you tell me one time too that you like put your tongue on the roof of your mouth?
Yeah, exactly. Because and if you guys try it right now and you place your tongue right behind your two front teeth or a little further back, and then you take a deep breath through the nose, you can feel like the more that you practice this, you will feel the life force, the prana going up there and hitting the third eye. And then chanting is really good. So if you chant, and I can't do the om because my entire body starts to vibrate, but I do the m, like just the and then I imagine that the sound is hitting the pineal, and that's really good for activating the third eye as well.
Awesome.
And one last thing, before you go to bed, lie down on your bed.
More.
There's more. There's so much more. But before you go to bed, like lie down for like 7-8 minutes. Do a small meditation before you go to sleep. Lying down, like very comfortably, and just breathe in, and that will induce lucid dreaming. So you'll have very vivid dreams, if not lucid dreams, while you sleep at night.
I've been having a lot of those.
A lot. Okay,
recently.
cool. But those are good ones to start with.
Totally. Do we want to touch on some basic things? We got Saskia, some things that make more awake and conscious. I mean, so that's such a...
Can you talk about things that make me more awake and conscious?
Mindfulness, so tracking your thoughts, doing breathing techniques, doing meditation. We should write a list. Let's see.
Holding ourselves accountable for...
Being accountable, that's huge.
That's huge.
Creating perceptive, like being able to tap into the different perceptions, so not just your own of where you're coming from, but really being able to step into somebody else so you can see multiple different perspectives of things. Read some fun books and get some downloads.
Get in tune with your body.
Get in tune with your body. Talk to your body.
Like imagine, this is a great exercise. So go for a walk and then imagine yourself to be an alien. Really, like imagine that you're an alien, you look like one, and that you're walking trying to get in tune with this vessel or this spaceship that is the body that you're trying to operate.
Yeah.
And then, get in tune with it, like play with your feet in different ways and then breathe different ways or have fun with it. And because that's really what we're here to do. We're spirits trying to figure out how to master the mind and work the body.
Yes. and be aware of itself and its own processing.
Being aware of what you let in too.
What you let in and what you project out.
Right. Exactly.
What was I gonna say? Oh, when we were talking about so chi, like learning about like qigong and moving the energy and stuff like that. So when you were talking about walking, like you've done and I've had separate experiences, like creating, like feeling energy moving through you and creating little energy balls.
Sea balls, yeah.
Don't.
And one thing you could do is like go for walks and play with like different mudras as you walk. Like
you did that one.
Yeah, like this last week I had this gnarly one.
Yeah.
It was like this. And it just came to me while I was walking, and then like this.
And then we went downstairs and we're like, let's both do it.
Right, we both did it. It was gnarly because what we can like, our hand gestures can be so powerful in unlocking like different portals. So when you go out for that walk, play with your hand movement, but don't force it. You have to be in that kind of like let yourself go, release your inhibitions, and allow for like this higher intelligence to come in and merge with you, merge with your consciousness, and work with different hand symbols. I feel like that can really open up pathways to different realities.
Right, when you mentioned that reminded me of something, I call it the human brain, right? So that's my term for basically when, if you are doing something like that, and then you almost have like, or human mind rather, right? So you have this thought that could come in that, would say, oh, this isn't real. Or, this is made up, or this is fake, or, oh, because I can't see it, then it doesn't really exist. So all the things that then try to contradict you having fun and experimenting in that and being aware of that and letting it go out.
Have fun with your imagination.
That's a short list. Yes, have fun with your imagination.
Have fun with your imagination.
That's the access to your subconscious, to your spiritual, to your
creative.
Totally.
Put some dragons around you.
Put some dragons.
Walk into a public space with like fire surrounding you. Like, be fierce.
Yes.
Oh, it's your turn, right?
What? I don't.
Thank you for joining, you guys. We really appreciate you.
Yes, we so love you guys. And every Tuesday, and shout out to anybody that's new. Shout out to everybody that's been here repeatedly so many times. We love you so much. Shout out to...
Here many incarnations, you mean?
Yes.
I'm kidding. A lot of these people have been...
Ain't our first rodeo.
They're like old souls.
Yes. Okay, let's find some juicy.
I think I found a good one.
Okay.
Maybe you can tackle it. I've removed a lot of toxic energy in my life by shedding old friendships. Do you feel like I'll ever owe them an explanation for just disappearing?
Okay, I was reading. We can get to that one next. What's this one?
I've removed a lot of toxic energy in my life by shedding old friendships. Do you feel like I'll ever owe them an explanation for just disappearing?
No.
If they're not asking for one, no. It means that's been sealed, and that's it. You were honoring yourself, and oftentimes we don't always
say that.
Yeah, like we don't always need to give people explanations, and sometimes what I've learned is I want to protect my energy, and with certain people I don't want to give them an explanation because I know it's going to backlash, and I love myself too much to put myself in a situation like that. And you can usually gauge, right? Like your intuitiveness will tell you, like, you're not safe telling this person, and you have to hear that.
Yeah.
And if they want to come back and say, like, why did you let me go? Then great, you can open up a dialogue.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'll make it very clear for you guys, you don't owe anybody shit. You really don't. You don't. You're a sovereign being, and remember that. So you can do as you please, when you please, and trust that, like, if it's honoring your truest and most loving self, and loving as in self-loving, then you're doing what's right for everybody.
If it's not harming anyone else.
Yeah.
So you can always do the things as long as it's for, the greatest good, for, yourself, for your own, honoring. But yeah, I like that you said if they're not asking.
They're not asking, you don't owe it to them.
And if they do, then also being able to, like, standing in your own truth and just saying very matter-of-factly, like, hey, this was what was coming up for me, and I just needed to honor myself.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to go into story of why and all that stuff.
And the key word is toxic. Like, if they're toxic, they're not going to get why you pulled away. So it's like, it's almost like they're not going to get it. So what's the point of explaining it? They're going to turn it into something of a toxic nature.
Yeah.
They're going to try to spin a drama web.
Narcissists think everything's cool still.
Yeah. So exactly. So protect it, protect your spirit. Protect it.
Yeah.
And less is more.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Can others absorb your energy that you have that causes physical pain?
Yes, people can
If they're
absorb your energy, but if you can sense that they're absorbing your energy,
yeah,
it means
pull
that you
it.
absorb them too.
Right.
So you have to find those openings in your energy field and close them. If you feel like people are absorbing your energy, you still need to practice grounding more and really, stepping into the fullness of who you are to such a degree where you don't care, you don't know, you don't even feel when they're absorbing your energy because that's not your responsibility. But you're showing up in the best way that you can in the fullness of who you are. That's what being grounded is, right? Because as long as you're feeling their energy, you're hurting yourself. You're putting that into your own body.
And I would say too, if it's your energy, so what I think I hear is that it's your energy that you're wondering if they can sense and if it's causing them physical pain. So if there's granted, each person has their own responsibility,
They do.
right, for how they absorb energy and how they either dismiss it then or transmute it. But you can, if it's a concern for you, you can then almost visualizing that energy going out to them and then pulling your energy back. It doesn't mean that it doesn't, it just means that you're taking responsibility for anything that then you're projecting out. Non-intentional, obviously, but if you feel like it may be getting projected onto them or they're absorbing it, then visualize that energy coming back to you and you
Absolutely.
transmuting it within yourself. So it's not to cause you more physical pain, but it's just to bring back and transmute your own energy.
And then if I can just add something to that, like I have found for myself that if people absorb my energy or I absorb theirs, we may not be a vibrational match. And like maybe we're not supposed to be friends. Maybe we're
If
not
they're absorbing
if
the
they're
energy.
if there's awkwardness in the mix when you're with someone,
Oh yeah, that's
maybe
awkward.
you don't, if it's awkward, like why be around it? Why subjugate yourself to a situation like that? So it doesn't make them a bad person or you guys are both beautiful beings, but it's about like honoring that maybe you're just operating at a different bandwidth of frequency.
And if they are friends, then too, they could talk about it.
Yeah,
And
you
bring
can
it
cut
open
it. You
as
can
an
cut it.
open
Yeah,
conversation,
exactly.
and be like, "Hey, I don't know if this is coming up for you.
Very good point.
But if it is, like, this is something that I've sensed, and so I just wanted to kind of share it and bring it out into the open. And then sometimes in creating a verbal connection like that, that automatically transmutes it. and
Totally. That's
dissipates
a
it.
very, very good point. Having open dialogue.
Yeah. Let's see. Like from being in a toxic relationship and you talk about it. What? Like from being in a toxic relationship and you talk about my physical pain is gone now and my friend now is feeling what I was physically. I think was that from the same. Oh. Yeah, that was the
Okay.
same. Okay.
How about this one? This is really good. I am not as
All
spiritually
right,
connected.
home slice, like leave the page. You know exactly who you are.
Okay.
If you're bringing any negativity, like jump off the page.
Please.
It's not part of this soul circle.
I'm not spiritually connected. I'm not as spiritually connected with my husband as I would like. I'm diving deeper, but he's not there with me. Thoughts? So if you're ascending into higher levels of consciousness, but you're still able to continue to love him unconditionally and it doesn't detract from your sexual life and from your affection for each other, then I would say it's not a problem. Because remember, what you're experiencing and what you're uncovering about the inner workings of the universe through your meditation, through your spiritual work, that's for you. It's not for others, it's for you. All right, you chose to marry this man, and we're always evolving as people, and that's what we choose when we even commit to someone in marriage. We're through it. We commit to that
So we
thing,
commit to that particular being,
to that particular
consciousness.
being. So you're going to evolve, and then there will be seasons where he evolves, but it's all perfect. And it may be a different path than you. It may not be like metaphysical or esoteric, but the thing is, If for any reason,
Can you communicate about it? Is there communication?
Is there communication? Are you getting agitated that he's not, open to what you're opening up to? Because if you're agitated, that's not fair to him because he's still the same person that he was. So he's consistent. So if a few years go by and you see that there's way too much of a gap and you're not sexually attracted to him anymore, and it's just there's too much of a discrepancy, then yes, I would say perhaps it's time to part ways. But for now, remember, it's all about us. Like, my spiritual journey is so much more powerful not talking about it. When I'm around people of all types and I can track what I'm feeling in those moments and then take it inwardly. That's where the growth happens. We have this misconception that growth happens when you constantly talk about it. As a matter of fact, that can be a recipe for emotional bondage, right? Unhealthy entanglement. And I saw that, like I see that in the spiritual community a lot. People open up so much, and then when they're wanting to be quiet or just have a private moment, the other person is all up in their grill. And that's not fair, right? So talking about spirituality is wonderful, and it's what we do, but where we want to get to is really going inside as you play in the third dimensional reality. And then you can really enjoy everyone, people who are like looser, people who are more extroverted, and you just enjoy it. You just enjoy living in your truth no matter what you're presented with. So
stop. Just that scene that kept going through my head. It was like, stop getting into each other's spiritual grill.
Right. I mean, Jesus wasn't trying to Jesus was hanging out with like prostitutes and all kinds of people.
She wasn't a prostitute.
He wasn't trying to change people. Like, he was just accepting of all beings, and he just enjoyed being in his truth.
Sharing his message.
Sharing his message. So
yes.
So yeah, and just so you know, where you are now is not where you're going to be in a year from now.
Yeah. So or where your partner's going to be a year from now.
And you have to trust that he's exactly where he needs to be, and he's not less evolved. Like, we play this game of like, I'm higher vibrational than you. That's all bullshit. Like,
I'm enlightened, you're not.
Yeah, I'm enlightened. Like, exactly. Like,
I didn't know there was certificates for enlightenment.
So, and then
Christ is coming down to certify everybody. Just stamp. You're enlightened.
You're enlightened.
Here's your certificate.
So this is my last download for this whole spiritual thing. Like, don't cling on to your spirituality. You open up to something, you get a download, great. You leave it where it is and you keep going higher. But if you cling on to it and then you start expecting everyone to meet you at that level, that's not fair to them.
Right.
Because there are higher places to go, and you have to travel light when you're dealing with spirituality. You get the download, it's a revelation, you're epiphanized, and then you keep it moving, right?
I do like that you said too, like if it creates too big of a gap, right? Because there has to be like some level of, if it's getting to that point where it doesn't feel like the connection is where it used to be. There's ways, obviously, to create that connection again. But in all relationships, we all hit plateaus.
All of us.
Everybody. And, the first plateau is like, when you're starting out and it's all hot and heavy, and then you hit a plateau where you're like, oh, wow, all the chemicals aren't going through our brains anymore of like all that sexual desire. Like, now where do we go? Right? So no matter where you're at, you're always going to continue hitting plateaus. The important thing is, you may be then feeling like you want to, climb to that next level for you. And if they're wanting to do so, sometimes it takes one partner to go and then bringing the other one up if that other one would like to follow, and you have to honor that. So if they would like to follow you and continue in that conversation, awesome. That's where you were saying, if you're still continuing and the gap gets larger and larger, then it's a different discussion at that point. But sometimes, was there ever a time in your relationship where maybe, they were at a different particular area than you were, and maybe they helped you rise up to that level, right? Not meaning that one is better or worse than the other, like we were saying.
Everything that you're doing for others right now is something that
somebody's have done for you. So keeping that in mind, because then it could flip.
Yeah, for sure. Like, everyone was paying for my meals when I was 20, and now I'm paying for people's meals. because it's how it goes. It's like people give to you and then you give back.
Right.
And it's a constant it's a constant equilibrium
yeah.
game.
It's like, are you here to give or only here to take?
Absolutely.
Or what if everybody could give
Yeah.
to each other, and then there would be
Exactly.
an equal push and pull.
Right. And yes, the person who said I'm remote healing as I'm speaking to you all, it's true.
Yes.
So
Words are vibration. I mean, everything is vibrational. So if we're sharing the words, that's just the English language, if I could actually speak it, the English language. But yes, we're sending love and energy and all that fun stuff. So, do we want to talk about twin flames tonight?
we can. How juicy is the question?
Let's find out.
Like, does it have like some good?
Let's see. Soul flames, twin flames connect with us in every lifetime if we feel. I don't know if this is a question. If we feel, this is Soulful Sunshine. Hi, beautiful. If we feel that your twin flame and you have a soul connection,
A soul contract to help the world.
Do you think you travel with them?
Oftentimes, yes.
Though different same soul though different lifetimes. You can. Why not?
Can. Yeah. And oftentimes,
Sounds
like
an adventure.
Totally. And sometimes, when you deeply love someone and for some reason, like something is preventing you from being together, it's
what, like a distance?
like I recently broke up with someone and like I love the person deeply,
right?
But I foresaw everything that would have happened in the future,
right?
And so on an alternate reality, we already completed our life together. So then I was like, but I don't want to do it in this life.
Yeah.
So oftentimes when you let someone go who you deeply love, it might mean that in this life you have a different soul contract, and that you may revisit that in the future. But we tend to be very small-minded, and we think like, oh my God, am I going to end up with this person this lifetime? And it's like,
they're the one.
Yeah, exactly. Like
not any other one.
Stretch your mind to possibilities that maybe you're going to spend the next life with them, and maybe you guys were supposed to encounter to then maybe plant a few seeds for them to blossom in the next life. Or maybe you were past life lovers that just needed to have a quick intimate moment to reconnect and to open up the heart chakra and so on. But yeah, soul contracts are very, complex. It's not just one way.
I've had a couple soul contracts I didn't feel like renewing.
Yeah.
So sometimes they can come back around in this lifetime, so then you can complete contract expired, and then you're not carrying the karma with each other anymore.
It's kind of like that feeling when you're in a room with someone, and you see them from across the room, and you guys have a lot of history, and there's a quick acknowledgement where you're like, I see you, go do your thing, I'm keeping on doing my thing, but you're not supposed to be together in this lifetime. But there's a certain acknowledgement, like you see them from across the room, so many memories, right? And you're like, I see you.
But that's not either supposed to happen now,
right?
Or maybe not in this lifetime.
And yet there's an acknowledgement. It's like so many it's like so many spiritual teachers, like we're not necessarily all friends, but we're all doing our own thing.
Yeah.
Like we're all split off and it's all of us, all of us light workers. That's what we do. So that's just a download that came. But you were going to say something about.
I don't know. Now I'm thinking about that.
About when you see someone from across the room, or.
About the last one. Yeah, that was good. And yeah, because I agree with you. It's like you have that connection, and there's all of the reconnections. It's like a flood of all of those
memories,
feelings and memories, and everything. And but for whatever reason, it doesn't work or happen in this particular lifetime. But you still get to honor each other. So not every reconnection has to be you can meet each other again in this lifetime, but it doesn't always necessarily mean that then, you're supposed to be long-term partners in this lifetime or whatever. Sometimes it does. And sometimes what if just crossing each other's paths and sharing, like how we were just talking about, we all share energy at the same time as words. What if in that moment you could have shared a whole download to each other of this energetic connection where they were just meant to come back into your life to bring you that one little like reactivation within your energy field. And yet you had so many amazing memories of how awesome it was in different lifetimes, but that wasn't the purpose of it in this lifetime. It was just to
Very well said.
reactivate that energy in you that can be
Very,
done
very well said.
in 2.5 seconds. So really good question. I like that, Soulful Sunshine. Beautiful girl.
Yes to Bill.
Okay, let's get some. I think it's on your side now too, but I
Oh, okay.
want to.
Yes, Renata.
Here's one. I've removed a lot of toxic energy in my life by shedding. Oh wait, was that the one that was on your side? Do you feel like I owe them? Oh yeah, that was the question that was already on your side.
I think I have finally found my life partner. That's great. It
Ooh,
just feels
fun.
different. Any tips for not self-sabotaging?
Oh,
That's a very
that's
good one.
Such a juicy question.
Ask yourself, are you ready to receive this fully and wholeheartedly? You know, are you ready to have all of those files that are being held within your body, all of those files that are like outdated? Are you ready to have them washed away through this love that has come into your life?
That's such a good question.
Yeah, and you know, every once in a while we're not in necessarily the best place or we're still working on ourselves, but the universe feels like our willingness is there to work through things. And so he was sent to you as a gift. And you have a choice right now. You have a choice to either, you know, go back to the old way or say, you know what? I give gratitude for this amazing gift from the universe and I'm ready to unwrap it. And as I unwrap it, I'm really, you know, undoing a lot of my programming and allowing myself to come into that higher octave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just say the majority of the time, right? People's fears in relationships are, oh my goodness, I don't want this person to hurt me, right? Or I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to get hurt by them. And that's usually what the common fear is. I'll say as a general. I think everybody can probably agree and relate to that one. The interesting thing that then when you're even saying, how do I not self-sabotage, right? So check in with yourself on a different kind of fear. And that fear, sometimes when the universe presents this beautiful gift to you, a different fear of, am I afraid of being happy, comes up. So it's a little bit of a different feeling, but now it's no longer a fear of, oh my goodness, is that person gonna, hurt me or leave me? That's like a different energy to it. This is a deeper internal energy feeling of, am I afraid of being happy? And so I just wanted to touch on that just to share and see if that resonates and just be paying attention to that conversation, because that would be what would sabotage if you weren't fully then accepting of receiving this love because there was some conversation where you didn't believe that you deserve happiness or you're afraid of happiness. It sounds counterproductive because everyone, normally we're like, of course we want happiness, says the conscious mind.
But the
the unconscious mind could have a potential fear of happiness.
Yes.
So just tracking that.
That's very well said. And self-sabotage corresponds with receiving. So remember that. Like sometimes we don't think we are deserving of something beautiful. And you are deserving of it. I mean, that's what it's what you came here to experience is beauty and love. And it's like, but because we've been abused so much and violated so much, we always think that it's going to be conditional. Like someone is sweeping into our lives and it's going to be transactional. Like they have a hidden agenda. So we put our walls up and we're like, no, I don't trust this. I don't trust this. Right. When in fact, it's actually, if it feels right, and you even said it's my life partner, be willing to open up that heart valve and receive that love and light. But yeah, it's all about receiving, you know, and as you receive that love, not only are you opening up the heart, but you're also healing the second chakra. And
Yeah.
second chakra does tie into
Totally.
abuse, codependency,
Totally.
people violating you, blah, 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 like all of that. So, perpetrating you. So
Everything.
you have a chance right
You have
now.
all of those fears.
Yeah, like the universe is supplying you with an opportunity to really like clear those files
Yeah.
and come into more love.
And you could clear them with that potential person. Like if, you know, talking about opening up, you know, really great communication, you could together sit down and say, hey, what if we could just in a neutral space, like nobody gets triggered, right? You both make that acknowledgement and then
Bake some cookies.
Bake some
Right? Why not?
I think it's great.
Make some cookies.
Make some cookies without not pot cookies. Some regular good old cookies. And then sit down and share what some of your, and I mean, laugh about it, right? Like share what some of your past fears have been. You get to share, they get to share, laugh about it, share your concern over who's going to eat the last cookie, like make the agreement now on who gets the last cookie so there's no confusion in like later on.
Oh man.
But awesome. So I love that. I love new love.
And don't be afraid to say like
know love.
to step forward and say like I'm feeling scared right now.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I'm
what I mean.
wanting to sabotage
Like this is so funny and
Yeah,
weird and this is maybe
totally.
stupid, but like I'm feeling like I'm gonna fuck it up.
Right.
Ugh. And who knows, they might be feeling the same way. So the more that then you guys get to like open it and share it, it's like, wow, I feel like I really connect with you and I'm afraid of fucking it up. And then you guys get to laugh about it. Over cookies.
Very good.
That was on
And yes, I
point.
do love cookies, people. They bring
Yes.
me joy. They said it. They're like, you love cookies.
Yes, you do love cookies. Awesome. Loved that one. Okay, let's find a yummy cookie. Cookie monster. You guys are awesome. Yay. Thank you, Sweet Soul 5. I cried so much yesterday. Give love. I think there's so much releasing. So much releasing. You should have a TV show. Yeah, we're manifesting. We're working on that. We're
manifesting it
manifesting
energetically.
that. Yep. Let's see. I have been.
Oh, that's nice. This has been the best Tuesday yet.
Yay!
Thank you.
We're here every week. Let's see, I have been broken up with my ex for 2 months. I've recently met someone new. I told myself I want to be single for a while, but I'm also afraid to push away someone who could be good. Any advice? Have you processed the recent 2 month, 2 month ago, or the recent ex? Broken up with my ex for 2 months. Okay, so it's only been 2 months.
I feel like if you told yourself you wanted to be single for a while, why not focus on a friendship with this person?
Yeah.
Why not focus on building like a solid foundation and being like, look, I place a lot of value in what this could be.
Yeah.
Right? And so with that said, I want to take my time and get to know you without all of that sexual stuff, right? Really build the foundation.
Yeah.
And also, you guys, we need to dial back on how often we see people. Once or twice a week maximum in the beginning, because I'm serious. It's tough for me too, because when I meet someone I like, I want to see them.
Let it simmer.
Let it simmer, man. Like don't push it, So maybe see them like once or twice. I think twice is more reasonable, but don't jump into something too soon because it's eventually gonna crumble like cake. And take your time with it. Or cookies. Yeah. So we have a minute. How did this go by so fast tonight?
I don't know, dude. I'm like...
It's so freaking crazy.
But we love you guys so much. Okay, one quick thing that I want to say for is it Jinga, Snap 13? Is just, like, give yourself time to process that previous relationship. Otherwise, you may take whatever that old stuff is then into the new one.
Yes.
So I love that you said that. Like, just if they're honestly open to getting to know you
Yes.
first, then they're more of a keeper too.
And-
because anybody
and-
who's just going to pressure you,
Right,
that's
and if
like
he
not.
hears you saying to him, like, I value you, and I value you too much to jump into this right now
Yeah.
because it would probably fail, he's going to love hearing that.
Yeah. If he's the right guy. If he's
he's-
not the right guy and he's only for other intentions, then he's going to be annoyed, in which case, not the right guy. So, awesome.
You guys rock.
You guys are so amazing. We will see you again next Tuesday, so 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So whatever time zone you're in.
And make sure to sign, if you haven't signed up for her amazing course, she took like $5,000 off of it, and it's a serious freaking course. So go to Sarah
We've
Delane.
got some new sign-ups soon. So yeah, but you can watch the webinar replay. Thank you for that.
for sure.
So
She's been working her butt off on this thing. It's
I've
mind-blowing.
had no social life except for you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we love you guys.
We
Thank
love
you
you
for
guys
tuning
so
in.
much. Mwah. And follow Phil too.
Namaste.